So, excellent article on Jedi Temple Archives, which is a Star Wars collecting site. And this particular article is dated from April 16th, 2024. I'm not going to read the article to you in full. I will put a link to it in the description below, though. It is entitled, Target Apparently Stops Carrying the Vintage Star Wars Collection. Now, this is fairly big news because I'm sure that a lot of you guys that are studying the demographics of the changing antiques and collectibles trade will see that children today are not like me when I was growing up in the 1980s, 1990s, who coveted a lot of the popular vintage toy lines that we know and love, like Star Wars, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What's happening now is kids are gravitating more towards Lego, video games, whether it's Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox One X, or of course, iPhones and other related technology. They're not going after action figures. They're not going after play sets. They're not going after items of that nature. If you look at the sales figures, they're down double digits. Hasbro's struggling overall. Mattel is struggling overall. If you visit the clearance section of your local Walmart, your local Target store, you're going to see a lot of these relaunched toy brands that we all love, whether it was Masters of the Universe, whether it was Superpowers toy line, whether it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they're already readily available on clearance. Don't get me wrong. There are some popular figures from those lines that sell very well, but they're selling to people my age who grew up with the original line to begin with. They're not selling to children. So it makes sense that now Target was probably sick of having to put all this stuff on clearance where they're saying, you know what, we're just going to stop carrying this particular toy line altogether. Now, I want to make this very clear. If you do read this excellent article, it does specifically state that Target will still carry the excellent Star Wars Black series. So if you do collect the Star Wars Black series line of the modern era, you can still shop at Target, but it looks like they are discontinuing the Star Wars Vintage Collection. Now, I'm sure that you want my thoughts on this. My thoughts are, this is due to the changing times. This is due to changing demographics. This is where we're going, like it or not. At some particular point in time, a lot of this stuff is going to be forgotten. And that even includes the coveted original toys that we grew up with. You know, if you spend any time on Hake's auction, you're going to see there are record prices right now being paid for a lot of AFA graded vintage toys. And I'm a huge fan of this market as a collector. As an investor, I do have some concerns. You guys know I've talked about this in other videos, the items that I like to invest in this market compared to what the average collector goes after. I do understand why they're buying it. I get the nostalgia, but there's a lot of risks when we talk about the market for vintage toys. I just recently uploaded a video talking about Mego collectibles, Mego toys, Marx toys, Marx play sets. Those particular items are dying at auction with few exceptions. This is where it all ends up, guys. You need to realize that these markets are inherently risky and inherently speculative. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this because I've already done enough videos on the risks of investing in vintage toys, on understanding the demographics of younger children and collectors who may have the collecting gene. They're probably not going to want to collect action figures and play sets when they get older because they didn't have all that much of an exposure to them when they were a kid. This is why you can make an argument if someone was going to try to speculate on collectibles that are going to be popular in the future. It's probably obviously going to be Pokemon, it's going to be certain Lego sets, and it's going to be video games. It's not going to be any of these toy lines that pretty much premiered at Target and or Walmart, and then were quickly moved to the clearance section because they're not selling. So just use that information for what it's worth, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.